Hello friends! I have to apologize because the title is a little bit clickbaity. I am not physically starting over with Glinda's bubble dress, but I am starting over in a way because I'm shifting my mindset around this project. I'll discuss that in depth a little bit later, but first I need to share with you what happened to me making Glinda's bubble dress. I started this costume with the high hopes of having it completed and ready to compete in the Crown Championships of Cosplay in August of 2022. I was on a pretty good trajectory until about mid-February when I started the tambour embroidery for the petals, and I quickly realized that it was going to take over 500 hours for me to actually add all of the sequins to the petals. So I gave myself a more compassionate deadline and decided that December would be a much better time frame for me to get all of the petals done and everything else done on my Glinda costume. I slowly worked on things like the bodice and the petals until about June, and that's kind of when things took a turn for the worse. At this point, I had several people tell me that I was gatekeeping because I wasn't sharing photos and videos that were shared with me in confidence, and because I didn't actually share the link to where I bought my stage accurate fabric that I found out because of those images that were again given to me in confidence. As someone who creates tons of free content on the internet, to be called a gatekeeper really hurt. On top of that, there were so many people telling me what I should be doing or what materials I should be using, all while I was approaching this point where basically I would have 500 working hours with nothing to show because I was just doing the same technique over and over and over again. It got really unenjoyable really fast at this point, and the only thing that I really knew that I could do was to just take a break from it. Initially, my plan was to just take a couple weeks off, focus on the release of my book, let that happen, get through that, and then come back to Glinda with like a clear head. A couple of weeks turned into a couple of months, which turned into 180 days since I've actually worked on my Glinda costume. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm ready to start working on her again. It's kind of like a roller coaster. Some days I'm like super pumped and super excited and cannot wait to sink my teeth into all that embroidery. And then other days I'm really stressed out about it. At this point, I'm not exactly worried about what everybody else is going to think or say. I've kind of moved past the whole other people having agency over how I feel about my costume. I'm really happy with my fabric choice, and I'm really happy that I have chosen to make Glinda in the way that I've chosen to make her. I am kind of concerned about like how many questions I'm gonna get of like, when is Glinda gonna be done? Are you finished with Glinda? But I think that I've kind of come up with an answer for that, at least for now. My goal is to have the bubble dress wearable by C2E2, which is like late March. I don't plan on competing with her at that point. I just want something that I can put on my body and say, I am Glinda. My next concern is finances. As many of you know, making content about making costumes on the internet is my full-time job. So if I don't have anything new to show, I won't necessarily have an income coming in to help, you know, keep my sewing machine running. I've semi-solved this problem by developing in-person classes that I get to teach to people at conventions. This does take a little bit of time away from the embroidery process, but it's honestly really fulfilling and I love doing it. I have also thought a lot about live streaming the petal making process again, so I have developed a poll on the community tab so you can vote if you would like to see that from me, and that's something that I can start planning for in the future. I'm also probably going to beg you all to share my videos a little bit more because, you know, like more views means more doll hairs, means sewing machine stays on. let's talk about my plan of attack to finish this gal. I have decided that I am remaking the underskirt, or like the base skirt that all the petals get attached to. Basically, the polyester was warping and stretching in really weird ways and actually ripping at some places. It's just not as strong as I think a silk organza would be. I am going to be purchasing some silk organza and remaking it out of that. I also have to fix up the sleeves on the bodice and make a collar. Obviously, petals, 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 petals for days. But I also need to style a wig. I bought a wig last spring. I don't love it. I'm going to use it and try to make the Glinda wig out of it. If it doesn't work out, or like I don't love the way it looks, I can always remake it. If I can get it to the wearable state, we're good. I also have to learn how to make jewelry because I wanna solder her crown and her scepter. Yes, this is a piece that I someday might compete with. So I do wanna make everything by myself. That's just that. So that's a lot of work. I still plan to document and share my process with all of you. I don't really have an upload schedule, but I would like to try to get 2, possibly 3 videos every single month out about making Glinda, or my process from here on out. I really appreciate everyone who has been positive and kind about this costume, and I am aware that the positive outweigh the negative by quite a bit. I'm personally working towards a healthier relationship with this costume and all of the work that I make and put out into the world. I really love sewing, and I really love making YouTube videos, and I don't want any of that to go away. So I am going to focus on the positive, and when we get negative comments or any negative vibes, I'm going to listen to my girl, Jinx Monsoon, and say to myself, water off a duck's back. That's all I have for y'all today. I hope you had a really good holiday season and a really good new year, and I can't wait to share the next video in the bubble dress saga with you very soon. Until next time, may all your dreams come true.